Hello and welcome to All Talk, the Geekbox Forums community podcast. This is episode number 37 for the week of October 15th, 2012. I am Dakazu from the forums, and who else is here?
Darfox8.
Mr. X.
MrsTotoro.
And Totoro.
When I said 37, I almost made like a Clerks joke.
You know, I'm back this week
Was it
from a
37?
DOA tournament.
37 dicks in a row?
Yeah. I paused. Welcome back, X.
Thank you. I did bad in the tournament.
Yeah, you told us, like, yeah, first of all, the tournament was not good because it took forever.
Yeah, it was poorly organized. But I think I played 7, and I think I won 3 of the 7 matches. So I didn't get swept, but I didn't do well.
It's okay. At least you did the tournament. Ronsu slept through it.
He flaked.
Well, I recall it being some sort of proof of concept tournament. It wasn't like super serious. They basically wanted to do one to see how easy it was to do it. You know what I'm saying?
It turns out that if you have a tournament with like over 40 people in it, you shouldn't make everyone fight everyone. Because that is how it was ran.
So you did it like group style, like what they do at the beginning of
There was 44
the World
people,
Cup.
and it was split into 4 groups with 11 in each group. And then all 11 people had to fight each other. Best of 3, so maximum of 3 fights each.
Yeah, that is a lot. They should just
And
do it
didn't
like
it
a Kung Fu tournament.
I'm sorry. Didn't it run into the next day as well?
Yeah, because, well, the 4 groups, the 3 of the 4 had half the people no-show, and then the group I was in had everyone but one person show, so our group took the longest. And instead of splitting everyone up to fight at the same time, we were all just in a lobby with one person fighting one person, so it was taking forever. Plus, it started an hour and a half after it was supposed to.
Shit happens.
It should have been an elimination tournament. But if it would have been, I would have been out in the first fight.
You don't know that. Maybe the pressure will make you work harder, and then you're invincible.
Maybe.
That rarely happens.
You know, Dakazu, you've been playing some DOA.
I have. We were just playing a little earlier today, and I am getting a little better.
You know what the buttons do now.
I do. Like, I was telling you, my main complaint is that in this game, like, when you stagger somebody, my immediate impulse is to throw them because that's what I do in Street Fighter.
You should not do that.
Yeah, I need to follow up with some kind of combo instead. So I gotta get that down.
Has anybody here ever like tried to get good at a fighting game?
No.
You've seen, Mr. X, my range of skill in fighting games.
Well, I played you in Virtua Fighter, and you were steadily improving over time. You were able to beat people.
Right, but like when I first started, I almost didn't care. You know, I played it like for whatever, and then you actually told me like, you know, you should stay away from somebody when they're standing back up. And like, oh, I guess that makes sense, and I would actually start.
Yeah,
I started to use like logic.
I remember there was this guy that beat me, and then he was fighting you, and then I coached you through the fight, and you won. It was great.
Yeah. So
you were his
see
corner
my
man?
you see my exact range of skill.
He was Daniel's son, and I was Mr. Miyagi.
Don't you mean Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan?
No.
I played like lots of fighting games like with my brother growing up, but my brother's always been much better than me. Like he's pretty much almost tournament level Street Fighter 3 player.
He's a tournament lover.
I actually like that idea better. Yeah, you know, I'm just much more used to 2D fighters.
Dude, it's different. I mean, DOA used to play like a 2D fighter up until like 3, I guess. You couldn't really sidestep or anything, but now you can. So now it's a little more complicated. But just the way the systems work is completely different.
It's a completely different mindset, you know.
No jumping over people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is jumping. It's just not every character can do it.
Right. But you know what, Mrs. Totoro, you were playing some TF2 today, and you had an interesting story about that.
Well, there's a group of ladies on Reddit and friends of ladies who are playing on their own. It's just a group of girl gamers.
And you joined them?
I did, and actually Totoro joined too. They're not.
Are you saying Totoro's a girl?
No, I said friends of girls.
Okay.
They're not man bashing or anything like that, but sometimes, playing any kind of game, you have a lot of the griefing from the gentleman community, and it's kind of nice just to hang out with the chicks and play.
Wait, if this was broadcasted on Reddit, wouldn't it be pretty easy for these assholes to still find you and make fun?
For some people, it might be. I'm smart enough to keep my name separate, and I think actually most of them do as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, I know that when I joined up, they were playing Man versus Machine, and it was like we're 5 people. We need one more, and so I popped in, and since I've been playing Man versus Machine, I've been playing a lot more Engineer, and they're like, "Oh, thank you for being a bro and doing Engineer." I didn't know if they were being facetious or if they were like generally happy that I didn't come in and was like pyroing or whatever.
That's
Right.
always hard to gauge when you're just like, even with like audio, like you don't know if you were being like sincere or
Disingenuous.
sarcastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think you could tell that they were being pretty genuine, and then we were, really whooping some, robot.
Oh yeah, we went through a whole like the entire like all 6 or 7 waves on one of them, and they were awesome. They picked up all the money except for like $15, and the one lady who was scouting around picking everything up, she was like depressed about it because it was like on the next to last one, and she was being kind of hard on herself, but it was still good stuff. I mean,
So they were very competent gamers.
I think that I didn't expect any less but they were really fucking good.
I don't want to sound sexist when I say that.
Right, and I'm not trying to. These were probably some of the best TF2 players that I've ever played with. Nothing to. I'm not trying to diss the present company, but I mean they were really fucking good.
They would wipe the floor with the regular TF2 night crowd.
They'd kick our asses. Well, one of the guys that plays with them, who's actually a dude, plays competitively, and he joined us on Game Morning this morning, and he was just going through like class by class and just kicking the shit out of people.
That's pretty funny because on game mornings and game nights, people are playing, but they're not really playing very seriously.
No, and I think that MrsTotoro was in their Mumble server kind of talking to them, while I was playing. We were trying to, go through and get a decent sized game morning going, and I think we got up to about 8 people, but it never got very many more people than that. But this dude came in and he just started wrecking house.
A game night is typically way more popular. The server always fills up on game night.
Right. And I had been kind of away from game night and game morning the past 2 or 3 weeks. So it was kind of fun to get back into it a little bit today.
Was it like surreal being in like an online I'm not talking within friends, like if you jump into TF2 game night, most of the people are there. Mm-hmm. You recognize them, we all know each other. But is it weird joining a public thing and then like people are being cordial? They're not doing that catcalling thing, like putting girls down.
Well, I guess MrsTotoro would be better to answer that than I am.
I mean, I've jumped into some public servers, and I've gotten the whole tits or GTFO, and you can't play, you're a chick, and oh my OMG, it's a girl, and I've gotten all of that, but the very first time I go into the Mumble server to talk to these ladies and like I said, lady friends, they were very welcoming, very open, very, very, very cool, no issues whatsoever. I mean, they just don't want anybody to put anybody else down. I mean, there's a little bit of griefing, but that's just the typical gaming trash talk when you're playing against each other.
Yeah,
right.
Our game servers they're okay. I mean, it helps that like Totoro is an admin. We're all pretty.
What do you mean they're okay? Their servers are great.
I was gonna say from the very first day that I started playing with you guys, nobody's ever given me any crap. for being a girl. I mean, besides the fact that I'm Mrs. Totoro, and it's obvious that, my Totoro, my man, right there, he's not going to let anybody mess with me anyway. But I don't put up with people's crap anyway.
Well, from the regulars, yeah, but like from randoms, that'll still happen.
Yeah, but there's admins there to stop that.
Yeah, I was gonna say then there's Totoro slaying people.
I mentioned this earlier when we were talking, but I think it's far more often that like a young kid joins and then everyone just fucking goes off on them.
Well, and something like, and I brought this up earlier when we were kind of talking about this before we started recording as well, that, this morning we had a kid who came in, or I'm assuming that he was a kid, and he came in, he was excited about something, and, he yelled into the mic and was like, whoa, you're cool, you're fine, just, please don't yell. It's just, I would have told that to, anyone. No matter what their age was or proficiency level. I don't care if a guy comes in or a girl and is the best TF2 player in the world, if they're, yelling into the mic on the server.
There's that one Russian guy that plays on the server every once in a while. At least he does a Russian voice. I don't know if he's actually Russian, but occasionally he'll just start screaming into the mic, and it's really annoying. So I mean, it's not that it's a kid screaming, it's anyone screaming.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I would want someone to tell me, hey, chill out. You're screaming into the mic, or and it's one thing if it happens, once in like a blue moon, or once in every great while that it happens. But it's just, for me, it's more about just playing with a group of people who are really just there to play the game, and if you're there to play it and play it well, then it's great to fit in and play it and play it well. If you're there just kind of to muck around and have fun and do that type of stuff, then that's fine too. But it's just, I think that it could potentially be one of those things where online gaming as like communities are going to see a decline if you have these people who are coming in and they're being assholes and all this other stuff.
Right? I just find that more often than not, even like in our game servers, when a kid comes in, everyone is immediately like, oh, who's the baby? And they immediately start like giving him shit, even if he's not screaming.
Right. That did not happen this morning. That was, I mean, there were only a handful of us, so it was like, and I think we were just kind of wanting to chill and play and do that. So, and I think that's the thing in general. It's like, I really just wish people would just chill out and relax and enjoy the day a little bit more.
Well, we have had some bad experiences with little kids on the server. Like, little kids get on the server and then they'll start asking for people's phone numbers.
Oh yeah, or they ask for items.
But there are plenty of like people who are younger that like are totally cool, like Cross.
Or they get on and they they say,
"You're not." Cross is not that young. Cross is 18. He is not 8.
We're talking about 12-year-olds. Sorry to.
Or they get on the mic and they go, "Hey, Dakazu, F you."
Hey, Dakazu, go fuck yourself.
What kind of voice was that?
I don't know.
I think that was a duck.
There's a talking duck on the podcast?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that only happened once, and that was because we decided to let my niece say whatever she wanted.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
So, Mrs. Totoro, do you plan on going back to this Reddit group and, like, playing with
Oh, yeah.
Man, I kind of want to go, but I'm not a girl.
Well, I will give you that information, and they'll decide if you're cool, with the community.
And there are operations that can fix that.
You joke about that, but that's actually one of the other things because I was wanting to look it up just to see kind of, what type of stuff they had out there on the subreddits, and that's one of the things that I saw that they talked about, that they are an open community and they just really want everyone to respect the other person or respect the other players and all that jazz. So
even if you're like transvestites.
Yeah, I mean the males, females, the whole LGBT spectrum.
From their sidebar, it says, pro girl does not mean anti-boy. This sub is not a reaction or retaliation to any kind of discrimination or alienation experienced while playing TF2. This is an attempt to bring she-mercs together. The intention is not to tear boys and girls apart, so there's no need to get your panties in a wad about it.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's fine, it's cool. I mean, we had a lot of fun playing earlier. It was, it was good fun.
That's cool. Maybe you can convince some of them that our server is cool and they can come join us.
I have pimped the server a little bit, and
especially this Mumble server. We're totally cool here.
Yeah. Well, some of the ladies actually have their own Mumble server. So
ours is better. We have the best channel names.
If any of the ladies are single and they want to be berated by me,
I think that's what they're actively trying to avoid, Dar.
I'm pretty sure, Dar, that you are Mr. White Knight.
Well, and that's the other thing that I know that they don't want a ton of, is like the white knighting and stuff.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time I white knighted? It was when KG was going crazy on the lunar girl.
Yeah.
That was pretty great.
I think you were white knighting as a joke, though.
Well, see,
no, totally serious.
I guess Kind Galaxy, when he is macking on a lady, doesn't really bother me because I work kind of blue, so...
No, so it's pretty ludicrous. He's pretty ludicrous.
People listening have no idea what we're talking about.
I was about to say, can you please explain? Even I don't know.
Kind Galaxy is a member of our person in our a member in our forums, and he was playing TF2 with us one morning. And some of the things that he was saying to me was kind of incredulous and really hilarious. And working blue means very foul language and very adult content, and it was extremely foul, but it was hilarious.
Well, and he's just one of those guys that, from the sound of it, it's like, okay, you're seriously trying to get somewhere.
What do you mean? Well, seriously trying to get somewhere in Mrs. Totoro's pants? What's going on?
He's Australian. He's Australian. Come on.
Yeah, so there's...
What does that mean?
It means that he's on another island. Yeah.
What does that mean?
I'm just double-checking.
It means he's on the other side of the planet, so...
Well, you know how those islanders are.
Hardy har har.
So, just wrap up on Kind Galaxy. He's somebody who claims he lives like a very exotic, strange love life, and I kind of believe it. Like threesomes, that type of thing. He's kind of a crazy guy.
Yeah, he's out there.
He'll be glad to know we're talking about him.
So what happened?
He should show up more.
No, I want to know what happened with Darfox. And you white knighted some girl?
It's because he brought like a girl to the Mumble server. Called Lunar something.
It was the TF2 server,
yes,
wasn't
excuse me. It was TV2 server.
Well, I don't think he brought her there. I think she just plays there, or she used to play there.
I think he invited her specifically. I think he had her on a friend list, and he was saying like a lot of crazy shit to her. Like at one point he was like, "My God, if you're here, I'd work you over this table right now." Like saying stuff like that. And then one guy actually like kind of white knighted a bit, and he said, "God, leave her alone." And then kind of went, "Oh, here we go, typical Team Fortress 2 player. They have to start white knighting," and that's when I like went really ballistic and started like fake white knighting, but like super aggravated, like get the fuck away from her, man. And it sort of became a meme.
She's mine.
Okay.
It's like if Raj from Big Bang Theory was working it.
So do you have a girlfriend?
I think we should move on before the listeners go crazy from not understanding what we're really talking about.
Yeah.
No, I was just concerned because I thought he was like just, shit talking some girl that he did not know. This is someone that he knew.
This was someone that he knew.
Right.
So I mean, it's slightly better than. Yeah. Anyway.
Can I talk a little bit about the Borderlands 2 again? Because the Necromancer class was released for Premier members, and they just announced the first DLC that's coming out
next week.
Yes, I think so. Is that it?
Next week.
Yeah. So
sure.
Last week we got access to the Necromancer Gage, and she's really fun. Like
she has robots.
Yeah, her ability is to summon this robot called Death Trap. And this robot just kind of Wolverines people. It floats around and like slashes at them, or he'll shoot like a laser at the flying ones. but he
So
lasts
doesn't
forever.
yell Wolverines and hide in the hills and shoot Russians?
I know what movie you're referencing there. I know. But yeah. The thing about his ability is he lasts forever. He lasts like almost like a minute, if not longer. And the cooldown is also a minute. The Commando has like the turret that lasts a very long time, but you can send it back, reclaim your time. The problem is you'll send this guy out. He'll mop up the enemies real quick, and then before you get to the next group, he'll like stick around, but just as you get to them, he'll disappear, and then you gotta wait around for the cooldown. And there is a skill tree. One of the skills, it decreases the cooldown, but in general, like it's kind of tough. But she's very noob friendly. That's what I find. Like, two of her trees are very powerful. One is totally elemental based, and the other one is pumps up like how strong your death trap is. And one of them is really complex and really weird to use. It's called Anarchy. Killing an enemy or fully emptying your gun's magazine while in combat grants you a stack of Anarchy. For every stack of Anarchy you have, you gain bonus gun damage, but your accuracy is decreased. Prematurely reloading your guns removes all stacks of Anarchy. And these stacks of Anarchy in this tree, like, they do different stuff and, like, more damage and lots of weird stuff. It's just strange. We can also talk about the released information about the first DLC, which I guess is going to be Desert Pirates?
Something like that, yeah.
I'm not totally sure because I didn't read into it that much. I just saw him passing this morning.
There's going to be new vehicles in it.
Yeah, some kind of desert boat.
It is called Captain Scarlet and Her Pirate's Booty.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be good. I'm looking forward to it. Do you think
Desert Boat for Hope.
X, do you think I should get the season pass or should I just go for
I got the season pass because I like some Borderlands.
And with what's the pricing on this DLC?
$10.
$10.
Okay.
So
And there's going to be 4 at least that you get with the season pass.
So $10 saving, I guess you would.
So it's basically you get one free.
Okay.
And they said they're going for all the campaign DLC to be more like the General Knox DLC from the first game, which was really good.
It was.
Yeah, they said that's what they said was their baseline. That basically Randy Pitchford was saying during the PAX panel that if they didn't think it was going to be better than, or at least as good as General Knox, then they probably weren't going to pursue that.
Cool. Once we play through that, I'll probably want to talk about that again. But Necromancer, great class. Definitely better than Assassin.
You know, you say that, but I've seen like Snake Dude, who's been on the podcast before. He says like with the Assassin, he gets like 100,000 damage like per shot.
I just do not find his ability fun. I don't enjoy using it. Like I forget to use it.
Seems like that would be like he's a DPS class.
He's not though.
If at the higher levels anyway.
Well, how can that be because correct me if
Snake
I'm
Dude
wrong.
is to be believed.
Well, but fine, but that's probably like a crit shot with a sniper rifle.
Yeah, and that's
You're not gonna-
waiting. You get stacks on your sniper rifle, but that's also after waiting until you build up your stacks for crits, and then also using your ability. And like I said before, when you use the assassin ability, you have 5 seconds in this camouflage mode, and you wait for that timer to tick down, and the more you tick down, the bigger damage you do. So you literally have to activate your ability. You wait for 5 seconds before you can fire your shot. It's just, it's not fun.
Well, and it's not like that you're going to unload on a group of guys with a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Well, there are rapid fire sniper rifles.
I don't know, X. Like, it's just my personal opinion. I don't personally find him fun. I haven't played the Gunzerker either, but I find all the other classes, like, some part of their ability, like, engaging and fun to use. Assassin, not so much.
I'm looking at a screenshot right now of the Assassin doing...
Whose screenshot is this?
Snake Dudes. But there's another one that I'm looking at right now that does... It says it does 1,179, but it's 1,179k, so that's over 1 million.
Right, but that's a critical headshot with a sniper rifle.
Yes, but that's the sniper class. Why would he not be using the sniper rifle?
Okay, but what I'm saying is that you're comparing him to like a DPS class. That's not. I mean, sure, that's good for picking off people one by one, but if you're dealing with like a whole mob of people,
It's true, but I mean, I'm not saying crowd control.
That's not what a DPS is. That's the thing.
I guess, but
It'd be pretty
it
good
does
for a
more
boss.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for a boss, it'd be great. But it does more damage per second than anything else.
Against one target.
Again,
if
rapid
you
fire. You know, there's all kinds of crazy weapons in this game.
Yeah, there were like 56.
I remember we were
bazillion
playing
guns.
Borderlands 1, and Ransu found a sniper rifle that shot faster than an assault rifle.
That thing was really awesome, and he was in love with that thing.
And I'm sure this game has similar sniper rifles.
It does, but I'm just saying, like, that's all. We can move on from this.
Okay, you know, I was wanting to play Borderlands 2 this morning, but there was no one on to play with, and I don't want to play by myself, so I started Sleeping Dogs. And I played it for probably about an hour, and it's pretty good, and it looks really good.
How
Is this
stable is
PC?
it?
My frame rate it jumps around.
Is that a problem? Is that why you asked that?
Well, because I thought that there was an issue with it crashing, maybe that you had.
I did, but it said there was a problem with the driver, or like the hardware driver, and it said it could be a hardware problem actually. But and then it exited big picture mode, so it could be big picture mode, which is in beta still. That is causing the problem. But there's an HD texture pack that's free on Steam, and the game looks really good. And I'm playing it on like everything maxed except for the anti-aliasing, which I have set to high instead of extreme, and I get between like 30 and 70 frames per second.
Okay,
But nobody cares about this stuff.
Yeah, so what about the actual content of the game?
It's fun.
Yeah, you said you played
It
it for an
plays
hour.
like Arkham City, kind of, or Arkham Asylum. That has that style of combat. I mean, it is completely ripped off from it. But yeah, it's really fun. And it has like Assassin's Creed style free running, except you have to hit a button to jump over things instead of just holding it down. But I got this one side mission. So far, all the side missions have been, hey, go over here, and then you get there, then you have to go and fight these guys. But I did this one side mission. It said, you go up to this lady. She says, does my shirt look too tight? And then just the camera just pans on her, and then some guy comes and attacks you and robs you, and then you have to chase him down. It's a really weird side quest.
And that's like the
that's
free running introduction.
No, that's not an introduction. It's a side quest.
Well, you said you had to chase after them, so I assume like that's like, oh, this is a good opportunity to do some free running.
Well, no, the game opens with free running. The game opens to like there's like this drug deal going down, and then some guy in it takes out like a meat cleaver and kills the guy, and then the cops come in, and then you have to run.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that this game is essentially like has level. I have heard that this game
Has level?
is essentially the like surprise game of 2012.
It's really good. People should get this game.
Ransu got it when it came out, and he said he loved it, and he just burned right through it.
I got it from Amazon for Steam for like $20. It was on sale.
So, was the girl shirt too tight?
Yes. It's a little too tight.
Sorry. I just love how like Darfox chimes
But,
in. It's
like,
like that's the important things. Let's get down to the meat of the problem here.
Could you like criticize her later on? Like, sorry, I went and fucked up that guy who messed me up, but now I'm back to give you.
I was hoping like I was gonna have to give a yes or no answer, but I never got a chance because you sit in there and then they were working together. She was working with the guy that robs you.
Oh,
She said that's what you get for being so dumb or something, and then you chase after the guy.
Wait, she said dumb, not like such a perv.
I don't know. I was
That would make a lot more
paraphrasing.
sense.
I was paraphrasing.
That's interesting.
Well, cool.
But this game is kind of ridiculous too. So, I mean, there's a skin in the game where you get like the costume from the guy from Just Cause 2.
Oh, his name's like Rodrigo Suave or some shit. What's his name?
Something like that, yeah.
Are these the
Yeah.
same people?
No, it's
Same
it's,
company.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
there's-
it's
there's-
Square Enix.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Eidos.
Yeah, Square
Square-
Idols. Yes, correct.
yeah,
Not
well-
Teach.
yeah, they same publisher.
Well, originally it wasn't, but then Eidos got bought by Square, and now it is. And then Square got the rights to this game, which was originally a true crime game, True Crime Hong Kong.
Right.
And then Activision canceled it. Only the game was so far along that Square picked it up.
Well, it was more weird than that because apparently this game was originally a game called like Black Lotus or something like that had like a female protagonist, and it made headlines a while back because a story got out that apparently they changed it specifically because of what was that called focus testing. They focus tested it, and according to these gamers, they said we don't want to play a game that's a girl as the main character, so that made a headline saying like gamers don't want female characters in their games. So that game eventually became like True Crime Hong Kong, and then that eventually became Sleepy Dogs. Kind of weird. Yeah, Sleepy Dogs. So it'd be cool if there's like another side quest later on in the game where you see the same girl talking to some other guy saying, "Is my skirt too low or too short?" And then you could go punch her.
I hope so.
Yeah, up to your own tricks
violence
again,
against
huh?
women.
Well, I hope that I can arrest her because you play an undercover cop in this game.
Yeah, it has one of those like kind of allegiance systems where you can get points for being a cop and points for being a bad guy, like a triad.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not a spoiler that you're an undercover cop. It's told you right away.
Yeah, it's like the premise of the game.
Yeah.
So is this like Infernal Affairs, the game?
No.
Because that'd
It's
be kind
like
of cool.
It's like GTA, but fun.
It's kind of like Flashpoint, the game. Flashpoint is like a kung fu movie that deals with undercover cops, sort of. Donnie Yen.
Right.
I think
But
that
you said-
reference just
about-
flew over everyone's head. I'm just saying.
Well,
Is that a
recommend
Jackie
Flashpoint.
Chan movie?
No, it's not. But I recommend it if you want to see some guy beat up guys using like MMA techniques. He does a lot of grapples and like arm bars. It's pretty cool.
Also, Totoro, you could have said The Departed. You know, the
But
remake.
that's not nearly as fun.
What about Taken?
I saw Taken 2.
Tekken 2, the movie?
Tekken,
Wait,
they made one.
I saw Tekken 2.
They really made that? That's Taken was the one with Liam Neeson, and he has to get his daughter back, and he fucks people up. It's awesome, right?
Yeah. So, what do you think Taken 2 is about?
What? Did they steal his daughter again?
Someone guess.
I think Taken 2 is going to be someone kidnaps Liam Neeson's family, and he goes, "I'm going to get you all back," and he does.
Anybody else want to guess?
Well, she's not wrong, but specifically, I bet he goes, "I will find you and I will kill you."
Anyone
And he
else?
finds him and kills him.
Anybody else?
I'm going to kill you all
And
because I'm
then
Liam Neeson.
And then the Russian guy goes, "Good luck, comrade." And that's why he catches him later on in the film. He writes down a note. It says, "Could you read this Russian to me?" And he's like, "Good luck, comrade." And he's like, "I told you I'd find you."
Any other guesses?
I think it's
now
a
going
lovely.
to spoil.
I think it's a lovely romantic comedy starring Liam Neeson and Famke
Yeah. Anyway,
Janssen, where
Famke Janssen.
where she initially gets kidnapped, but he finds her in a closet 15 minutes later. And the rest of the movie, they go around and see the sights in Moscow and St. Petersburg.
And be romantic.
Okay, here's what happens. Liam Neeson and his wife get kidnapped, and the daughter has to rescue them.
So the daughter learns
What?
kung fu and she fucks him up.
No, he has this little tiny cell phone hidden in his sock that they don't find because it's so small. Then he calls his daughter and says, they're coming for you. So then she gets on the side of a building, gets into another room, and hides in a closet, in his closet, that has a case full of guns and stuff. And then she goes rooftop to rooftop, throwing grenades, and then he's counting the time between when she throws it to when he hears the explosion to tell her if she's going the right way. And then she drops a gun in a smokestack, and then he gets the gun. And
So
then he gets free.
we have to add a spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert for Taken 2. People get taken, and then Liam Neeson kills people.
wait. Are you serious? His daughter busts him out?
Yeah,
I assume this is for the beginning of the movie, and then it
Well,
goes
sort
back
of.
to Liam Neeson killing people.
yeah. Well, she doesn't really bust him out because he already gets himself free, but she gives him a gun.
So, does she really throw grenades down
Yes.
alleyways?
Yes.
Does she ever look down to make sure there's nobody there?
Well, she doesn't do it down alleyway. She does it like on rooftops.
On
'Cause
top
she-
of rooftops?
Yeah, she's going rooftop to rooftop.
Oh, because ceilings never collapse in on themselves.
Who cares? This is Taken 2.
Taken to the streets.
Yes, exactly. But
his-
there is no line where he's like, "I'm going to kill you all." He says to the guy that kidnaps them, he said, "Do you have any other sons or grandsons that will avenge you?" And he says, "Yes." He says, "Then I will kill all of them too."
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's very Have you ever seen The Godfather Part 2?
The Godfather what?
Part 2.
Yes.
Has anyone else here seen it? Not seen it? Want to see it?
I haven't seen it in a long time though.
I haven't seen it.
I've seen.
Robot?
Mini robot.
Okay, so it's like a kind of a major. So spoilers for a, let's see, 1974. So
Almost
38-year-old. Yeah, an almost 38, almost 40-year-old movie. So one of the major plot points of The Godfather Part 2 is the character originated by Marlon Brando, who in The Godfather Part 2 is played by Rob De Niro. The Don goes back to his town in Sicily and basically finds the Don there who ordered the assassination of his father and his older brother and kills him. And they also talk about like how earlier in the movie they wanted his mother pled for his life so that he wouldn't. They were saying that he was feeble-minded and all this other stuff, so they wouldn't kill him.
Yeah, that's
and then he
basically
winds
the
up
plot
killing
of
him.
Taken 2. Is the family of all the people that Liam Neeson killed in Taken 1 want revenge. By the way, the movie's terrible.
Really?
Awful.
Wait, do you like Taken 1?
I love Taken 1.
So,
And
what
I
went
don't
wrong?
care that the story is bad and there's hardly any character development or anything like that. I don't care. It's the action. The action is awful. You can't see anything. It's a blurry mess. It's just quick cuts and you can't actually see what's going on.
Liam Neeson is kind of an old guy though, so
Yeah, but he was an old guy in Taken 1.
maybe he broke his hip by then.
I don't think he broke his hip. You're talking
That's
about
kind of a bummer.
You're talking about the guy from the movie Next of Kin here. Next of Kin? Anyone? No? Okay.
No, I saw The Grey though. The Grey was kind of okay. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that movie is not what you think it is.
The Grey?
Yeah, because I thought the movie was going to be him fighting wolves, and that's not what it is.
Well, that's kind of what it is. It's just
Well,
that you
no,
have fist fighting
it's him
wolves.
him running away from wolves, and then at the end he fist fights them, and then you don't see it.
Spoiler.
Spoiler for The Grey.
It's like a pack of humans and a pack of wolves trying to basically in a survival ploy pit.
The last scene though in The Grey is pretty awesome with Liam Neeson because of what he does with the bottles.
Yeah, and he says like once more into the fray.
But apparently there's a scene after the credits that I didn't see.
Yes.
I
Want me
need
to
to
spoil
watch
it
that.
for you?
Go ahead.
It just spoiler for The Grey. Sorry, it just shows the wolf like very close shot of the wolf's like belly, and he's like breathing. You could tell he's still alive, but maybe he's dying, and that's all it shows for like 3 or 4 seconds. So it doesn't show Liam Neeson, but you could take that to mean that like maybe Liam Neeson managed to kill the wolf. But I doubt he didn't get bit at all.
So would it
So
have
he would
just
probably
been
be dying too.
Would it have just been because that was the alpha? Would all the other wolves have just left him alone if he killed the alpha?
Maybe, or maybe they outbowed in front of him and they say you are wolf god now.
And then he's gonna skin the alpha and wear its head as a hat or something.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
say, "I am the Wolf King."
But I think that's kind of like kind of a non-twist at the end, because you really think he would survive even if he killed that wolf? What's he gonna do?
He's in the
He's
middle
stuck in
of
the wilderness.
nowhere.
Yeah.
He's gonna freeze to death.
Yeah. So sorry for spoiling The Grey out of nowhere. We gotta put a lot of spoilers up in the text.
That was a really random thing to spoil too.
Interesting.
Want me to spoil the movie Chopping Mall?
Oh yes.
Do you really? The
Nah,
movie is great.
I think it's just gonna be us two laughing at it because I don't think anybody else has seen the movie.
Is it about a couple of people who are illiterate and can't read?
Nope. Why
It's
would that-
about robots that kill people.
It's about robot mall security guards that kill people.
It's a really like shitty 80s horror movie.
It's really good. I hear typing.
Yeah, I was typing something X. Didn't you want to talk to us about The Shield?
It's not called The Shield. It's called Shield.
That's what you
Yeah,
said
that-
when you were like describing it to us. You're like, I have something to talk about The Shield, and that's
The
what I
Shield
wrote down.
TV show. Shield.
Wait, do we know what's going to be called? We just know it's about
I
Shield,
think it's
right?
called Shield. You know, with a period between each letter capitalized from the Avengers.
Mhm.
Shield. But Coulson is going to be in it.
So we don't know the context of that, right? That might be
Well,
what's
this
that
is
called?
from the New York Comic-Con panel.
Right, but we don't know like if it's a prequel or if he's coming back or.
It says Clark Gregg will be joining the cast. He is the guy that plays Coulson.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah, that's all we know.
Whedon said that Coulson is headlining the Shield show, not just in it.
What?
Which
What about
weird.
I don't know
what
if
about
I'm
the
okay with
strong
this.
girl character?
He's not going to be the only character. They put out a casting call or like a description of all the characters for it.
But that means ultimately this is either a prequel or they're just going to retcon his death.
Or Robot Coulson.
Robo Coulson.
Oh, God, that would be so bad.
Or
Really?
maybe computerized version only seen on a monitor.
Oh, no.
Like AI Coulson.
It's entirely
Or-
possible. Sorry, that in one of the next Marvel movies, whether it be Iron Man or Captain America,
It's Iron Man.
they make clones or something, and that's part of the plot, right? So then they use that plot point in the TV show to say, "Hey, we managed to make a clone of Coulson. Cool, right?"
Or maybe he didn't really die and they just wanted him to think he did.
Don't you think if Whedon is in charge of that, he'd be really pissed?
He's not the one that decided to kill him off. Marvel decided that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of like Whedon's formula.
Yeah,
but
that's why I'm so
Whedon
surprised.
went on record saying that it wasn't his decision.
They said, "Believe it or not, it wasn't me." I gotta get this out there because people are gonna think it's me, but it wasn't.
Exactly.
I mean, that's totally his MO. He will take a beloved character and off them. Period.
Are you saying this just because of Firefly, or have you watched other Whedon shows?
Firefly, Buffy,
Angel,
yeah, Angel.
Dollhouse.
He kills off somebody you love in everything he touches. Whedon is the kiss of death.
I thought it was Angel. I didn't think it was Angel. I thought it was about a lovable Latino.
Uh-huh.
You thought
okay,
it was about the sergeant from Dexter?
Yeah. Hey, I would totally watch something that with David Zayas and as a demon or something, just a show with David Zayas as the main character.
Yeah.
You know, he's in The Expendables.
Coulson?
No. What? Why would he be
I'm
in
sorry,
The Expendables?
I thought we were talking about Coulson.
We were, but then we moved on to Angel from
Wait.
Dexter. Batista? That's his name, right?
I don't think Dark Fox knows who this actor is.
No, I've never really seen any Whedon shows except for
Dexter is in a Whedon
Serenity.
show.
Did you see Burn Notice? Do you remember the very first episode, the guy he helped?
What is Burn Notice?
No, I've only seen a few episodes here or there.
Sunglasses commercial.
That was a bit that they did on SNL. It's like, what is Burn Notice? And it's like a TV show, game show.
No,
yeah.
seriously, what is Burn Notice? I need to know.
Yeah, no one. The gag is that no one can really accurately explain it.
I thought that was kind of blatant advertisement for Burn Notice.
They talked about this on the Geek Box.
I did. I thought it was kind of blatant, though, because USA Network is owned by Universal, which is NBC.
Comcast.
Amazingly, I'm looking through some information, some interviews that Joss Whedon has done this last year, and he says he's tired of being labeled as the guy who kills people.
Then he should
Newsflash.
probably stop doing it.
Newsflash, Joss Whedon. Stop killing people.
Exactly.
Guns don't kill people. Joss Whedon kills people.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Also, Dr. Horrible. Someone died in that, too.
Yeah, spoilers for Dr. Horrible.
Man, this is just
Was
a
it Felicia
spoiler
Day?
cast.
Yes.
Felicia Day died in Dr. Horrible?
Yes.
Did she get impaled on a stick or something?
Actually, yeah. She got shrapnelled.
I think she may have also died in Buffy. I'm not sure, though.
I have not watched Buffy yet, so...
I'm not positive about that.
So anything else about Coulson?
Just he's going to be in it, and the show's going to be, I guess, about... I don't know. Based on the description of all the other characters, though, I mean, I could see him being, the guy that sends them all out on their missions.
Like Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. He's just going to be a voice box on a desk.
Or on a computer screen.
Oh, that sounds so
AI.
bad.
Does it? Why does that sound bad? You know what the Marvel universe is like?
Do
you?
they constantly revive people like the DC universe?
It's a comic
Yeah,
book.
It's just
all
comics.
Yeah, it's not DC's thing.
It's comics. Come on.
I don't know,
If
X.
they-
His death, though, it pissed me off. I thought it had meaning. I thought it was well done. If this is a prequel, that's kind of
Maybe it's his twin brother.
That sounds so bad.
Maybe he was the first member of like the clone agents, much like the Clone Wars and Star Wars.
I really hope you're
Maybe
not
he's
being
a
honest
Skrull.
there. Actually, saying maybe it's a twin brother. That's a good idea.
No, it's a comic book storyline.
So it doesn't need to be good. It needs to be
No.
ludicrous.
Yes.
Well, how about this? How about this, Dakazu? What if it is like a prequel series, and they're going through and they're setting up these people who are going to be in the upcoming Marvel movies, and giving the backstory for them?
I don't see it being a prequel series.
One episode will have to be titled "How I Met Robin Scherbatsky."
I don't think she's going to be in it.
Is that a How I Met Your Mother reference? I just got that. I got that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Because-
Kobe Smulders was in the movie.
Yeah.
My wife is really good with actor names, but I'm not. I'm like, oh, it's that person.
But also,
I-
she can't be on S.H.I.E.L.D. because she's on How I Met Your Mother.
It's not going to matter here because this is the last year for How I Met Your Mother.
But they have
Agent
to cast this.
Coulson was in, what's that called? The New Adventures of Old Christine.
Yeah, he played the husband or ex-husband,
Yeah.
depending on
So,
how you look
is
at
that
it.
show still going?
No.
Are we
That's been off
spoiling?
the air
Are we,
for a while.
are we spoiling New Adventures of Old Christine now?
Why?
Yeah, it's over. Well, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is on Veep now.
Do you want to spoil that too?
Might as well.
Yeah.
We've been spoiling
She's
everything.
She's a vice president.
Oh,
Oh!
shit, dog. Spoiled.
Kevin Spacey is Kaiser Soze.
Rosebud is a sled.
I assure you, the White House is most definitely open.
Luke is your father.
The Titanic sinks.
The wizard was behind the curtain the whole time.
No, it wasn't. It was all a dream.
And you were there, and you were there.
You know, the Wizard of Oz prequel makes no sense because it was all a dream.
What?
But, but in the Return to Oz, she goes back.
But
Oh,
it was
Return
all a
to Oz
dream.
is awesome.
But
That's
it's
a
all
great
a
movie.
dream.
But that's after
Gee,
Fairuza Balk discovers LSD.
yeah.
Good movie.
And then they changed like the breed of dog that Totoro is, or Totoro. Oh God, that Toto is
Totoro.
Totoro. Because in the original movie, Toto is a Cairn Terrier, and in this one, I think he's or in Return to Oz, I think he's a Border Terrier, which they don't really even though they're both terriers, they don't really look alike.
But how could there be a sequel if it's all a dream? Come on.
Well, but that's what I'm talking about.
Come on, people.
The
I don't
sequel is
know.
her eating nachos and hot dogs so that she has a bad nightmare.
You're saying she had a bad hot dog and gave her food poisoning and then she had a weird dream?
Oh, I don't know if it has to be bad hot dog, but they always told me that if I eat hot dogs before bed, I get nightmares.
That's not true.
It hasn't happened yet.
Give you a bad hot dog.
Have you been testing this theory, Darfox, every night?
No, but I've eaten plenty of hot dogs before going to bed.
I like how we all just pass over the fact that Totoro totally is macking on Darfox.
I think we're just used to it by now.
That's very true.
So in Primal Fear, the character that Edward Norton plays is actually also the killer.
And in Saw, the killer was the dead guy in the room the whole time.
In
Uh-huh.
Star Trek, the Wrathful Khan is very wrathful.
And in the others, they're all ghosts.
If we're
In 7, there's a head in the box.
In Unbreakable, Samuel L. Jackson, who plays Bruce Willis's friend, is actually the villain.
There are dinosaurs in Jurassic Park.
In The Village, they're actually in modern times, and
Okay, you know, I'm just gonna start talking over you guys. Let's go into if we're spoiling stuff, I want to do a wild speculations on Walking Dead the third season because it's gonna start soon. And let's just say ahead of time we're gonna be spoiling stuff because we know what happens in the comics, and we're just gonna be talking about what we think is gonna happen in the TV show.
Because spoiling is what we do.
Yeah, at least on
Apparently.
this episode. So let's just get right to it. Are they going to kill Lori?
yes.
I hope so.
No.
She's an
You-
awful character and she needs to die.
Now, to me, the question is not so much. Okay, so in the comic books, at the end, as they're going out leaving the prison, she gets shot from behind, and it not only does it kill her, but since she's covering the baby.
So you think they're gonna
That
wait
kills
till
the
she
baby
has
too.
the baby and then they will kill her?
Or maybe
I-
she'll just never give birth
I think that they'll never. I don't think they're gonna kill the baby. Is what I'm saying, because the baby dies in the comics.
Yeah, that's really brutal in the comics, you know?
I think that a lot of times that there are shows that will keep a character that people love, and a lot of times there are people characters that they'll keep because people hate them. And I think that when they got rid of Shane, like, happens in the comic book, I think it'll be too much for them to take away that human antagonist. So I think they will actually keep Lori alive.
You know, a lot of people were mad that they killed Shane.
And they shouldn't be, because Shane died in the comics, but they don't care.
Yeah, but they're mad because everyone was saying he was the only character with any kind of common sense. That's what people were saying.
He had zero common sense. He thought with his dick.
But he was also out for survival. He did whatever it would take to survive and for other people to survive.
Right, but Rick's whole thing is that what's the point in surviving if you don't retain your humanity and your civility? So
I'm not saying I agree with him.
Well, I'm just saying that, if people think that, then I don't know. I don't agree with that. The premise that Shane is somehow the smartest one of all of them, or the most the most common sense of all of them.
But does Rick get his hand cut off?
I think they have to.
I don't think they do.
I think it could happen, but if it does happen, it's going to be... I think Merle is going to do it.
Do you think Merle is going to be the governor?
No, Merle's not the governor. They've announced that the governor is David Morrison, who was in a Christmas special of Doctor Who, where he played Jackson Lake, who was the fake Doctor Who. Spoilers for Doctor Who. From, I don't know.
Yeah, they're going in a completely different direction with the governor. Do you think the governor is going to be a weird necro-pedophile?
See, right? I thought all along that the governor should be played by, oh gosh, what is his name? From Breaking Bad, his head was on the turtle. Badass.
Danny Trejo?
Yes, Danny Trejo.
A lot of people thought that.
Because he actually looks like him.
Well, yeah, he does. He's got the hair and, yeah. But
David Morrison looks nothing like the image of the doctor, or the governor in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, they're definitely going in a different direction. Based on the trailers that they put out for it so far, he's acts completely different. But I'm sure the end result will be the same.
Well, the thing about, I feel like the focus of the comics is, let's see how fucking beat up the main character, I can't think right now. Yeah, Rick. How can we just completely beat the shit out of Rick and just beat him down and beat him down and beat him down?
Well,
right?
the thing about that is, especially in relation to the whole hand thing, is that Robert Kirkman has said that he wishes that they hadn't taken his hand away, because it actually makes things way more difficult to write for. Because he would talk about how he would write a scene where he's buttoning his shirt up, and you can't do that with just one hand.
He wrote himself into a corner.
Yep. But I think the governor, I think that might be, I know AMC can do a lot and everything, but I think the governor is just too extreme of a character for AMC. I think it would have to be HBO.
I hope they don't do the rape. I know, it's...
Well, there's rape, there's necropedophilia.
Yeah, I mean...
They could make it so, illustrated in the comic?
Yeah.
Yes.
He has this little zombie girl chained up and all of her teeth pulled out so that she can't bite.
And he feeds her. He feeds her meat.
Yeah.
Isn't that his daughter?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if it. I think he said it was, but I don't know if it was ever really confirmed that it was actually his daughter, not just some girl zombie.
Didn't they already kill off one of the principal characters last season? Dale, was it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess anything could happen in this one.
The actor wanted off the show,
right?
So they could go do a different Darabont show, because he likes working with Darabont.
Yeah, he specifically works with Frank Darabont.
And as you know, Darabont got fired from Walking Dead, and I actually think the show got better after he left, because he really wanted to draw things out, and all the other writers didn't. And this show was drawn out way too much last season.
I'm actually hoping that they do include in the storyline the whole serial killer side story.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's no twins, is there?
Well, I mean, he could
Yeah.
still be killing other people.
Yeah, I suppose. But do you think there's going to be actual prisoners in the prison? Just
I,
Oh, yeah.
I think,
there?
Follow that.
yeah. And I'm hoping that one of them is, he really presents himself as being a white-collar criminal, but he ends up being a capital murderer or something.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect opportunity to introduce new characters, X, when they get to the prison.
Yeah, but also when they get to the town with the governor. And I'm just, when are they going to introduce the other character, the guy with the hammer? I like that
Therese?
character.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they will ever introduce him at this point, because he was supposed to come in before they went to the farm.
Yeah. And I guess T-Dog is supposed to, I don't know.
I think
T-Dog is terrible.
I think
Yeah.
T-Dog is supposed to be an amalgamation.
Of every awful character ever that doesn't do anything,
Well,
just sits there, and bleeds and gets cut.
Of Tyrese,
And complains.
of some of the characters that don't do as much.
T-Dog was only there so that Merle could be racist to him.
I won't disagree with that.
Don't get me wrong, you can do a lot with T-Dog, but they don't, right?
He just sits there and does nothing.
They could give him stuff to do.
His major plot point from last season was his arm got cut.
And he got sick, and then he was like, "Oh, I don't feel good."
And
If
I
I
don't want to
recall-
ask anyone for help.
If I recall, he sort of became BFFs with Dale. That's kind of where I was watching season 2 with the farm.
Yeah,
And did he cry a lot when Dale got killed?
I don't think so.
So this guy doesn't do anything.
No, he doesn't.
He really doesn't. That's the problem, Darfox.
Nobody
He
does
pumped
anything.
his fist when Shane died.
Okay.
No.
So I double checked because it was bothering me about the zombie daughter. It's listed that she's the niece of the governor, but remember he was pretending to be his brother in the comics.
Okay, right.
So it's his niece biologically, but it's his daughter because he's pretending to be his brother.
Doesn't make it much better.
Yeah.
I know.
On that note,
it's not
I
any
think we
better.
I think we should just move on because, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just see what happens. When does the show come back? Halloween?
Sunday. Tomorrow.
We're recording on
You
Saturday,
think-
so tomorrow.
Yeah, October
Oh,
The
14th.
really?
TV show is gonna nuke Australia like the comic did.
Wait, what?
Yes, that's gonna happen. Definitely.
The zombies are gonna drop a nuke on Australia.
Also, the aliens are gonna come down, and the governor is gonna be their leader.
Joss Whedon will all.
You guys don't remember that from the comics? The aliens? I'm being serious right now. I am. I'm 100% serious. You don't remember the aliens?
Wait, were there allusions to aliens in the comics?
No, there was this letter section that said, "Are you ever going to explain how the zombies came to be?" And then he said, "Probably not, but if I did, it would probably look something like this." And then there was a section after the letter section that was in color instead of black and white. And there was aliens, and this was after the governor had died. So the governor was brought back, and Lori was brought back.
It was like
was kinda funny.
issue number 50 or something like that.
Yeah. I was being serious. Aliens.
That's kind of funny.
Uh-huh. Let's move on to Moviebox. Moviebox this week was Mrs. Totoro's choice. Mrs. Totoro, introduce your movie.
My movie was The African Queen, starring Katharine Hepburn and Humphrey Bogart.
Humphrey is an awesome name, by the way. Not enough people are named Humphrey.
You know,
The
I haven't
character
seen
is
this
looking good,
movie
Humphrey.
until I saw it, today.
So you hadn't seen this movie until you saw it?
Mhm.
That's what you're trying to say?
What I'm saying is this was
Same
my
here.
first time seeing this movie.
Yes, same here.
I believe
Yeah, same here.
I believe I have seen this movie every year for about the last 10 years, at least once.
It was pretty good with its old-timey acting.
You know what I thought was interesting and kind of surprising?
What?
The the two lead characters were ugly, and I thought they were going to be like really pretty people. Because, it's like a romantic thing, right?
Katharine
Yeah.
Hepburn's not ugly.
She looks like an old lady.
Are you
She
talking
does.
about how they just look haggard because they were in Africa?
In 1914.
They look sweaty all the time, but that's fine. A pretty lady that's sweaty, just a pretty lady that's sweating. But
She looked old.
She's
Yeah.
She looked kind of like... She looked leathery.
Well, she
But-
was sick when they were recording this, right? when they were
she's
taping this.
the real life actress had dysentery while they're shooting this. But story wise, Rose Sayer has been in Africa for 10 years. She's 33 years old. And just after the Germans, fire bomb their village, her brother dies of what's presumably malaria, and she probably has it herself.
So there you go.
Yeah, so I would say that's actually a positive of the movie, where it's kind of interesting. They look like the characters that they are, and they don't look like these supermodels that were just plugged into this world that don't belong there.
Well, they look like real people.
Part of what made that realistic was Katharine Hepburn had dysentery.
Good girl.
In fact,
She looks better in other movies.
The whole cast and crew had different diseases and maladies of different varieties, with the exception of Bogart and John Huston, the director. And that's because what was it that Bogey had? He only ate canned beans, canned asparagus, and scotch.
Yeah, he said anytime a fly bit him, it would drop dead.
I'm surprised they taped this in Africa.
They taped in Africa, and then there are some scenes that they taped in Turkey, and it was considered to be pretty avant-garde for them to do that, because they were doing it in Technicolor. They weren't doing it in black and white, so the cameras were pretty unwieldy, and they were having to travel around with them.
Do you know what I noticed when I was watching this movie?
Yes.
I noticed that this was made in the time where people were not fact-checking their sources on a lot of things.
Such as?
Like when the mosquito mob shows up. Why isn't the mosquito mob just showing up like a lot more often?
Yeah, why did it go away when they started moving?
Yeah, small stuff like that.
Well,
I don't think that's that big a deal.
At one point, Humphrey Bogart, the character, they ask him about, the war that's going on in Europe that's just started up. And he tells them that Spain is involved in the war and Spain's not involved. But I don't think that that's necessarily something that did wrong in the movie. I think it's more about the fact that they are in Africa and their information may not be completely accurate.
And he didn't know a lot.
Yeah,
he didn't know a lot about the war.
It wasn't.
Yeah, he didn't really care.
It was just like a lot. The mosquito thing was just one of the things I noticed. It was just like little tiny things. It's like, that's not factually accurate right now. Like, a lot of small things. Like, the small little details are more like what people imagine them to be, like, because they didn't know what Africa was like.
Well, one thing that occurred to me, was when he was drinking, like, the water from the river.
Yeah,
like,
that
that's
one.
safe?
Yeah,
He
exactly
combined
like
it with
that.
gin. So
Then the gin, like, kills
yes.
the microbes or something?
So once he
That's
would
interesting.
have combined it with enough gin, it would have made it potable.
And they were also boiling it.
Well, I know they were
tea.
boiling it for the tea, but when he was, splitting it with gin, I was like, whoa, is that safe?
Well, you have to figure.
That's why they all had dysentery.
You have to figure at that point, the character is probably used to drinking some of the water mixed with the gin, so it wouldn't bother him so much.
Well, and the other
Yeah,
thing,
well,
I guess.
as far as some of the plot points in the movie go, you also have to remember that it was based on a novel as well. So
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, is like, it seems like the novel is like stating all these things that will not actually factually, go and pass in modern times.
So the whole reason they wanted to sink that ship was basically revenge for her brother dying, right?
Well, that, and so that they would be
Partly.
helping the Brits get back into Central Africa, because the boat that they are wanting to sink is protecting that lake, and none of the British or Belgian boats can come past and help anybody that's in the villages.
Yeah, I think it was mostly a practical thing, because they themselves would have wanted to be rescued by, like, the British rear guard or whatever, right? So the only way to do that was to let the British come through that big lake,
Right.
and the only way to do that was to mess up the Louise.
Right.
So there's some brave motherfuckers.
Well,
Yeah.
I liked that after, before they went down the first rapids, Humphrey Bogart's character was just kind of like, oh yeah, we'll do this, ha ha ha, I'm laughing about it. But then after the rapids, and she still wants to go, and then he literally snaps and makes the more realistic approach of you are nuts. We should not do this. Are you crazy, lady? I thought all that kind of stuff was well done.
Well, and when you think about it, her brother has died. She's not married. She's in the middle of Africa, so she's far away from home. and she really has nothing to lose.
Right.
So she played him for a chump and like roped him into like her suicide mission. To view in a very negative light.
The only thing that Mr.
Yeah,
Allnut
whatever.
has to lose is the African Queen.
But isn't that kind of his whole life? That's all he does?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but only because he didn't want to like take orders. He said.
Right.
And by the end of the movie, he has a girl now, so he has a family.
He's a family man. He went
So
home to be a family
when
man.
he's upset and he gets drunk and passes out, and then she starts pouring out the gin, there's always one thing that I think.
Why is the gin
Drunk
gone?
fishes.
Why is the gin gone?
So you're saying Pirates of the Caribbean stole it from this movie?
I think it may have been inspired by that scene, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean,
Do you think they
this,
took the bottles back out of the water, or do you think they just littered?
I think they just littered.
They just messed up the whole like ecology of Africa.
Yep.
All the ducks got stuck inside the bottles, and then all the alligators gonna eat ducks. So then the tiger's gonna eat the alligators, and then the lion's gonna eat the tigers, and then everything fell
Wait,
apart.
what?
I don't think you know how the food
tigers
chain
eat
works.
alligators?
Wait, tigers in Africa? I don't think it works. like
And
that.
lions eat tigers?
Are there ducks in Africa?
I think you
Maybe.
meant to say hippo and elephants.
Yeah, the hippos got stuck inside the bottles.
Yep, that's what happened.
That's one of the best scenes.
Oh, yeah, that part was... Yeah, that scene was really weird. Like the way the he was making sound effects that were clearly like not his sound effects. They were just put into the soundtrack.
Yep.
But whatever, it's like old movie, right? It's kind of a funny, silly scene.
Yeah, I noticed that when the German guys were talking to each other and then they started shooting, that you could clearly tell that wasn't the Germans talking then. So they all had the same exact voice.
That was the other thing that there at the end was one of the best lines in the movie was, by the power vested in me by Kaiser Wilhelm II, I now pronounce you man and wife. Now proceed with the execution. Just the delivery on that I really liked.
It was
That
a
was a
really
very good
good
line.
scene.
I mean, that's what the movie was about, right? Like just their relationship, and they didn't really hate each other before they fell in love, but it is them coming to like respect each other and them loving each other. All the mosquitoes and drinking the water isn't really.
Yeah.
It's kind of secondary.
Well, and once he's no longer completely besotted, he starts to become himself, and she really falls in love and respects that guy, not the drunk guy from before.
Right. Oh, I thought that was really dickish at the beginning when like he comes to bring them their mail, and
Yeah,
they're sitting at the
beep.
table, and the brother's reading the paper, and she's pouring herself tea, and then he's just sitting there like, dude, I'm hungry. My stomach keeps growling, and you guys keep ignoring me. I was like, what a bunch of assholes. Why didn't you
gave
feed
him,
that poor
They
guy?
gave him bread,
Buttered.
and then they said, have another cake.
And she made him his tea
then
how he liked it.
And they invited him to stay for dinner.
Yeah, but I thought the entire scene was like they were waiting. I don't know why, but it seemed like they were waiting to start dinner, and then
What
his
did
stomach
they-
was rumbling, waiting.
What did they eat when they were on the boat?
Probably
So I'm drinking a lot of
probably
stuff.
cracker rations.
Did they eat crocodiles?
He said they have a lot of food. I forget what he said exactly though.
I don't think that's really important,
He mentions in the very beginning that he has food for like a long time, so they could succeed. They could like live for a long time on an island or whatever.
No, they
Yeah,
said
all
they
you need to
had
know, X, is
like
they had
12 crates of cigarettes, I think he said.
Yep, cigarettes and
Oh,
then
yeah.
2 crates of gin.
Yeah, so we could stay here in luxury or something like that.
For like 6 months.
But that's not food.
But that's all he needs,
Cigarettes and gin.
because he's a man.
Did people in those times say hip hip hooray?
Apparently.
If they didn't
Because it just
before,
sounds
they do
forced.
now.
It just sounds forced no matter how I listen to it.
Really? I thought it was fine.
Unless it's set around like Pirates of the Caribbean times, like 1800s or whatever. It sounds wrong.
Well, it's
Really?
the early 1914 is when it's supposed to be, and then you have to keep in mind that she is a Methodist missionary, so she's not going to use language that would be a little bit more modern or up to date.
And she was stuck there for 10 years, so she wasn't able to get all the newest phrases.
So maybe hip hip hooray was from 1904.
Right.
She learned it from all the African children.
Then why was he saying it?
He just copied her.
Like, okay, I'll do it.
He was around in 1904. Why not?
So, Mrs. Totoro, I kind of know why you picked this movie, but why don't you tell everyone why you picked this movie?
Is this your first movie that you watched together? That's really nice.
Well, it's the first movie that we watched after we got married. We had, our first Valentine's Day together, and this was the one that we watched. I wanted to pick the one from our first date, but it wasn't available, so I was kind of being kind to everybody else and making sure there was one that was available on streaming.
What was this first movie?
This is better than the first movie that we watched on a date, in my opinion.
Yeah,
What was the first movie?
Serendipity is the first movie that we saw on our first movie date.
The John Cusack
Yes.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
would agree.
you picked the better movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
Fun.
like I said, we've seen it every year for about the last 10 years, because we were married 10 years ago.
How sweet.
And our anniversary was yesterday.
Well,
Thanks, guys.
I had not seen this movie until I saw it.
No.
Yeah, I guess everybody hears it for Mrs. Totoro and
Thanks,
Totoro.
It's a movie that my dad had recommended it when I was younger, and it was one that I wanted to make sure Totoro had seen. And ever since we saw it together, we've watched it, like I said, about every year.
It was a pretty good movie.
I liked it. I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, it's good.
Fun fact.
Yeah, it was good.
This is the movie that netted Humphrey Bogart his only Best Acting Oscar.
You gotta repeat that. You broke up real bad.
This movie is the movie that netted Humphrey Bogart his only acting Oscar win.
Not Casablanca?
Nope.
Not that other movie he was in?
This other one. This is the only one. No, not
even the Maltese Falcon?
Nope.
Really?
This is
Did he get nominated?
Probably. I know that he had several nominations, but this was his only one.
Sounds like a pub trivia type of information that you guys are giving out.
Well,
Good job.
I saw that and I was like, hey, because I didn't know that.
Did you know that Humphrey Bogart was born in 1899?
On Christmas Day.
And he died in 1957?
Yep. And
He was almost a millennium baby.
contrary, he would not have been a millennium baby because it wasn't the 1,000 year, it was only the turn of the century.
It was almost a millennium baby minus 100 or whatever.
Contrary to some popular belief or some other rumors, he is not in fact depicted on the Gerber baby food. There used to be rumors that he was the Gerber baby.
Who is the Gerber baby?
I don't know, not Humphrey Bogart.
Was it you? Are you the Gerber baby?
Yeah, because I'm that old.
I knew it.
Hey guys, I just realized something. I did not get next week's movie box pick.
Wait, who's next?
I totally forgot. Who is next? I don't even know.
I believe it is Cross.
Oh, I know what his movie box pick is. Let me just confirm with him 1 second.
I think I know what it is.
So while we're vamping here,
I think I might know what it is as well.
Stop lying.
Totoro.
yeah,
What were you saying?
while we're vamping, has anyone seen like Casablanca or the Maltese Falcon?
I've seen the remake of Casablanca.
Oh,
I have not.
Tank Girl.
It's called Barbed Wire. Barbed Wire.
Tank Girl.
It's not Tanker, it's Barbed
I
Wire.
don't know.
Darvox, have you seen Barbed Wire?
No.
It's starring Pamela
Has
Anderson.
anybody seen Sabrina, another lovely Humphrey Bogart film?
With
Teenage Witch?
with the other Hepburn.
Yes, Audrey.
I think William Holden's also in
Yes,
that
he
movie,
is.
but it's really good. The remake with Harrison Ford, Greg Kinnear, and Julie Ormond is decent, but it's not quite as good. Basically, if Humphrey Bogart is in it, it is better. I forget.
Okay,
is Lauren
I got
Bacall
Cross's
alive?
movie box pick.
All right, what is it? Spill.
It's Totoro.
I know.
Really?
Hey, let's go.
Hey, let's go.
Hey, let's go.
We're happy as can be.
Whatever, man.
Totoro.
It's my favorite
You gotta sing the
Totoro.
OG Totoro song. Dun, 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 Totoro,
Totoro.
Totoro.
So you guys are saying is anime.
It's
But
an
it's
animated
Totoro.
film.
It's
Yay.
Miyazaki, X.
Yeah, because I like the last Miyazaki movie so much.
It's not Totoro's
Portoroso
fault
wasn't
if
that
you're a
bad.
weirdo.
It wasn't that good either.
I would say it's better than Totoro, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, you are wrong. But then again,
I don't know much about the English dub. Totoro, you know better, obviously.
Okay, I've never seen the Trauma version, but the Disney version is actually pretty good. It's got, I mean, it's pretty close as far as I can tell. The two sisters are voiced by Dakota and Elle Fanning. The dad is voiced by Tim Daly. Totoro.
Wait, did you say there's a trauma version of this?
Yes. Like way
As
back
in trauma version? As in
TROMA.
Toxic Avenger?
Yeah.
I think X is gonna look for this version instead.
And Totoro and Cat Bus are voiced by the highest grossing film actor of all time,
Samuel L. Jackson?
Frank Welker.
Are you sure about that?
I am positive.
Last I
Okay.
checked, it was Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, they did not take into account the fact that, like, all the voice work that Frank Welker has done. Guarantee it.
No, I recall the dub being pretty good.
The dub is good.
Okay, I'm looking now. It's saying Tom Hanks is.
We can actually... Totoro is a movie that we can actually get my niece and nephew to watch in Japanese.
So
No,
read
they
it?
can't read it, but they love it.
But then how would they know? it was
They've-
going
Wait,
on?
you show it to them without
They've
subs?
seen it. They've seen it in English so many times that they can watch it in Japanese without subtitles and just know what's going on.
They kind of like hearing the Japanese too sometimes. They're weird.
That's funny.
They're all like, what is this moon language?
We actually taught them how to say hello and thank you in Japanese.
That's not that hard.
I know, but it's really cute to hear them say
That was
mushy
not
mushy.
impressed.
Just saying.
Yeah, that's not hard, except for, like, you know, you try teaching a 5-year-old in Indiana who has no concept of another language.
You should teach him to say "itadakimasu" right before they eat.
Why would I try to do that?
That's a horrible
But
idea.
it's so
Dark
cute to
Fox.
hear them say
Yeah.
arigato.
I just supposed to break into someone's house as a little kid and try to teach them things?
Yes. No, you don't break into the house. So I don't want to stay in the dark.
Just kick in the
Hey
door?
kid,
Hey kid,
You learn
Say-
Japanese.
say konnichiwa. Say it. That means hello. Okay, later, bye.
sayonara.
Also, is "domon arigato gozaimasu."
Hayo
You're going to teach him
gozaimasu.
teacher right.
O genki desu ka?
9?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure that Dakazu is like, oh my god, you sound like the whitest guy ever.
Nah, I'm not like that. It's cool. But I think we should wrap up. I want to thank Dark Fox and Mrs. Totoro and Special Guest Tumble for joining us this week. If you enjoyed this podcast, please donate to the official Geekbox Mumble server. It's where we hang out and talk and record the podcast. If you want to be on the podcast, just jump into the Mumble server, say hi to us, or you can PM us on the forums at forums.geekbox.net. You can PM Mr. X, Totoro, or me, Dakazu. Follow us on Twitter at alltalk podcast. Email us questions. Podcast at alltalkpodcast.com. That's the email address. And review us on iTunes and all those other things. And listen to the other podcasts, including The Geekbox, Comic Conspiracy, The Comedy Button, and Good Job Brain as well. That just
Horror
wraps
Box.
it up.
Horror Box.
Oh, Horror Box, I'm sorry. X this month is doing a Horror Box podcast with, were you doing it with Bob Lawlaw?
Blah blah blah.
Yep, and Totoro has been on 2 episodes too.
Yeah, so check that out. You can find those at the forums at forums.geekbox.net. Yeah. Okay, I think that is everything this time. Okay, thanks for listening. I love you.
I know.